Good evening or good afternoon. Uh, Welcome to part two of the Micronaut Java Groovy comparison site. It's a bit like comparing the market, but we're comparing Java and Groovy in the Micronaut world. So be prepared. This is part two. I've hit a few issues today which I've resolved. Both these sites are typically the same, and I want to talk through what I'm going to test today with you. To get the site running, you're going to have to follow these instructions. It's not straightforward, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 applications, and they are here, here. XML Streamer, it does something very simple. It streams XML. And it's got two URLs, test, which returns a listing of A180 to A999 of different records inside this XML, and a basic test, which returns just one object. So we'll first look at that code. And here is basic test, which returns a single current orders encode as, and it encodes this orders object, which ends up as this XML object inside this XML tag. The other longer one calls A0 to 1000 and adds new orders of A0 to A999 into an array, and then joins it and sends it as one big large document that we just saw here. So that's that XML application. It streams or sends, it's got a HTTP that shows XML. Initially I did it as a HTTP response, and I found that when I called it through the Java application, it would only work for the first time and not the second. So by wrapping it around a single has fixed this problem. I then found in the Groovy application, this was causing a problem. So in the Groovy application, this is being defined in the client as the specific type of what the object is rather than a question mark. I think I did it on the Java application as well, just to be to follow suit. String client, and that question mark is composite byte buffer over here. So that fixed that, and then I had another problem where the Java wasn't. It was calling the client for the product to get the product, which is basically, we haven't gone there yet, but so let me get there first. The product application. At the moment, I've taken out the ports, so is running on what ports? We can tell you what port it's running on by going to 8500, and it's running on port 3335, 366544. So 365, sorry, 4, and then products or product. So it is called product. And the controller is called products, correct. And then we need to call something, obviously. Oops. Fine. That should work. Find A1. Strange. What does it say on my README? I took out the port because I was doing another test. I should really put it back so it makes it easier to follow. Because at the moment I am struggling. Anyhow, let me go back and see what I've done wrong. See if I can resolve it quickly. That should be it. It's 665. That was it, isn't it? It's 6654. Anyhow, I'm not going to waste too much time on that. It should have given us something and it's not. Is that because it's running? Uh-huh. And then we've got, so it's misled me now. We've got two tests that I wanted to do with this video. Jumping around now. We've got two methods I've introduced in the Java application. Anyway, so when you got the product, what went wrong in the Java application? This is what I was talking about, and I kind of lost track. Is over here. It did import.add, and when this item was inside this, for some reason in the Groovy world everything was fine, but by putting inside the import.add, it was calling the client the fallback methods, which it stopped doing. I don't know. I can't follow it sometimes. What silly little thing made things work sometimes, you know? So anyhow, that was the other problem. So what happens is it comes in and we're going to do two tests. One is to get that basic XML from the XML site and simply display it on the screen, which is this test here. Another test is to parse the XML by reading in the larger XML and using the test XML file in this class to read through and use out to XML drivers, which I'm also at the moment having some issues because it does some error when it reads the document, and I'm not sure what the resolution is at this point. And then once it's read the XML in, it produces a new object called incoming orders from the elements that it picks up asynchronously and puts them in. And once it gets to the end of that object, it adds that element into the DB. Well, when I say DB, it calls all the repository save, which and adds it to this list and this array, and then it shows the array at the end of it over here. Return import, which is that array, and this is part of the single, which gets returned as part of this map iteration, return here. But what I was going to go and show you was this order repository save method, which suggests that when it saves, it has a duration and it puts it into Redis for a certain amount of time before it expires. So it's the cache rather than DB. Now, this method exists on both the Groovy and the Java site. So you can follow it through in the Groovy View and find the same thing. And we're going to demonstrate this very simply by hitting test XML on 8081, which is the Java site, and then hitting it on 8082, which is the XML site, the Groovy site, and they both return the same results. Then we're going to hit, so that was test XML, and that's the basic test. So it's gone off, it's read the XML, and it's produced it on the screen from the remote XML streaming site. Then we're going to hit, so that was test XML, this is XML test now. XML test simply reads through that larger file and does all that heavier work of the DB. This is on the Groovy, the Java site, 8081. This is on the Groovy side, and they're both identical and do identical things. Now, what we want to do is run jconsole. We want to connect to the Java application. We want to connect to the Groovy application. And then we're going to, I mean, you can see at the moment, they're in slightly different heaps and usages because we've been hitting them. So I'm wondering if I should restart them all so that we're even and fair and square. I mean, that's some major difference. Okay. Let's start again. Because it's an unfair test at the moment, they're on different loads. So it's something more on similar lines, nothing really different about the two. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trigger a call to the very basic. So we're going to close all these down. It's not to get in the way of anything now. In fact, we're going to do a basic test of this test XML. Okay. So it's just literally go off and get an XML page from the remote machine. But we're going to do it simultaneously 100 by 100 users and do that 10 times. Make it 1,000 users. So 1,000 simultaneous users hitting that XML page on one on 8082 and one on 8081. So this is the Java. And here we go. Ooh. Whoa. I don't know. Oh. It doesn't look right, does it? Okay, I'm going to restart the test again, sorry, because there's something not right about that. I'll see it properly. Right. Okay, I need to stop broadcasting. Okay, so okay. I think we need to reconnect the J console now. Where's that other J? Oh, there it is. PC can go right there. Okay, so back to square one again. And here we go. Not quite so. Not what we wanted. We wanted to do 10 hits by 1,000 users, right? Is this on? I don't. Getting a bit annoyed with this at the moment. Sorry. It's just my I'm not seeing the cursor properly, and I don't want to make a foobar like I did a second ago. I just wanted to. Here we go again. Okay, so we're ready to go. So at the moment, there's 1,000 users hitting that XML page 10 times in a row. Simultaneously. Very nice. So, you know, the Java is clearly using, well, is it? It's hit 400. The Groovy didn't even hit 400. There's not much difference in the two, I don't think. Maybe for this test. You can be the judge of that. And remember, each one of these requests is actually 1,000 requests, because each one of these XML files is 1,000 entries. So there's quite a lot going on there at the moment. Well, mistaken. I do apologize. This is the basic test. So it's just one XML entry, but 1,000 at the same time. It's completed, but I like that pattern compared to this. This is sort of gradually going up, where they both came down a bit more. I'll just give it a short while for it to cool down a little bit, for the heat to drop a little bit. It may remain there now because it's not on. It's not going to be doing nothing, and there's no work going through it. So what we want to do now is do another test, and we're going to hit the heavier one, and we're going to do concurrency of 4 users, so that's like 4,000 requests, and then we're going to do 2 requests, so maybe do 5. Minus n5 minus, sorry, 3 minus c5. So 5 concurrent users, and doing 3, which is 3,000. It's going to be heavy. So we're on that. What are we going to be on now? I wonder. Oops. Okay, I've hit some form of a problem there. Oh no, this is that problem I'm talking about that I've noticed with the XML driver. But there is a specific problem there. Yeah, another XML that thing. Oh, the test, oh no, it's still going. That is results coming back from the product DB, or product application. And those print lines ain't helping. So I mean, they're at different times, but you can see they're pretty much doing similar amount of heaping at similar sort of periods. We've had, between that minute, we've had 2 heap dumps in here, and we've had 2 heap dumps in here. It's reached this peak and it's come back down again. And again, in this minute, it was similar. Maybe in this one, you can see it's had 2, whereas in this one, it's had 1, but it's just to do with a slight variation in timelines and how it looks. You might have a slightly different pattern on this one now compared to that one for the next minute. I think they're quite similar. There's not much difference in the way they behave in. You can see like on this one it's got 2 now in 11, whereas this one's got 1. Near enough, yeah. So only going to get 1 before that block's finished. There you go. So yeah, I think overall there's not much difference there. CPU possibly. Groovy Java. Groovy Java. Groovy Java. Groovy Java. How's that? How's that for a comparison? Never seen one like it, huh? There you go, the comparison sites. All you need is some meerkats and you're set. That's what they say. I'm getting quite bored of this test now. I mean, it might go on forever. It's just such a long test, I think. I think this gives me enough to suggest that they're near enough equivalent for this test. So perhaps my last test should be removed from YouTube, and maybe we should just stick with this one because this is more, everything appears to be working correctly on both sites at the moment, and well, you can see here the results. It's quite clear. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Feel free to contribute as much as you like with this project. It's on GitHub here. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye.